You don't click on a video like this unless something inside you feels heavy. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed, quietly losing hope, wondering how much more you can carry before you hit a breaking point. On the outside, you smile. On the inside, it's emotional exhaustion and silent struggles no one really sees. And if you're honest, there's been the urge to quit, whispering louder than usual. But what if this moment isn't the end of your story? What if it's the turning point? Here's something most people won't tell you. The season of deep despair, the ache of a weary soul, the walk through the valley of shadow. It's often the greatest testing of faith. It feels like everything is falling apart, but sometimes it's actually falling into place. God's timing rarely matches your deadlines, but it's never late. There is always purpose in the pain, even when you can't see it yet. And right now, even if it doesn't feel like it, God is with you. You might think you're weak because you're tired, but this is where divine strength in weakness shows up. What feels like silence could actually be unseen victories forming behind the scenes. The pressure you're under, the storm is passing, even if the clouds haven't cleared yet. There are miracles in the making, and you're closer than you think. So before you decide anything, before you walk away, stay here, because something is about to shift. When you reach the breaking point, there comes a moment when you feel at a breaking point, like one more setback might push you over the edge. You wake up already tired, carrying emotional exhaustion before the day even begins. You start questioning everything: your path, your prayers, your purpose. That quiet voice of losing hope tries to convince you that this is all there is. But what if this pressure isn't proof that you're failing? What if it's proof that something is shifting? When you're feeling overwhelmed, your mind exaggerates the storm and minimizes your strength. A delayed opportunity feels like rejection. One mistake feels like total defeat. This is how the urge to quit grows, slowly, subtly, during your most vulnerable moments. But instead of spiraling, try something practical. Write down 3 past situations that once felt impossible but worked out. That exercise alone can shift your focus from panic to perspective. You may feel like you're walking through the valley of shadow, carrying a weary soul that just wants relief. But this season is often a testing of faith, not a verdict on your future. Instead of isolating yourself, take one bold step. Call someone who strengthens your faith, play worship music during your commute, or read a psalm out loud and speak life over your situation. These small actions may seem simple, but they create momentum. And momentum is what keeps you moving when standing still feels safer, which leads to something even deeper happening beneath the surface. Trusting the process when nothing makes sense. There will be seasons when you're doing everything right, and nothing seems to move. You're praying, working, trying to stay strong, yet you still feel that quiet, deep despair creeping in. This is where trusting the process becomes more than a phrase. It becomes survival. Because God's timing rarely aligns with your urgency. And when you're waiting on the Lord, it can feel like silence. But silence is not absence. And here's something beautiful to consider. This message might be reaching you at the exact right moment. Maybe it's morning where you are, and you're preparing to face another heavy day. Maybe it's late at night, and you're lying awake with a weary soul, searching for reassurance. Think about this. Right now, people in different countries, different time zones, different struggles are hearing the same words. If this speaks to you, share in the comments which country you're watching from and what time it is there. It's a powerful reminder that even in silent struggles, we're connected beyond borders, walking this journey together under the same God. When you feel stuck, your instinct is to control something, anything. But growth often happens underground, unseen, like a seed breaking open before it rises. That's where purpose in the pain quietly forms. Instead of obsessing over outcomes, create small anchors. Wake up 20 minutes earlier to pray. Write one page of gratitude. Reduce the noise that feeds fear. Choose faith over fear, even when it feels fragile. And if this message resonates, gently press like and subscribe, not out of obligation, but as a way of saying, I'm choosing to grow, to hold on to the promise, and to don't give up. Because something is shifting, and you're closer than you think. There comes a moment when something inside you changes before anything around you does. The bills may still be there, the uncertainty may still linger, but you decide you will press on anyway. That's the shift. That's where faith over fear stops being a slogan and becomes a decision. You realize that even though you've felt feeling overwhelmed, even though you've wrestled with the urge to quit, you're still standing, and that means something. Breakthroughs rarely arrive with fireworks. They begin with internal alignment. One morning you wake up and instead of rehearsing defeat, you speak life. Instead of expecting disaster, you declare, God is with you, and He is your refuge. You start replacing, why is this happening to me, with what is this preparing me for? That simple reframing begins to shift your focus, and suddenly what felt like deep despair becomes the training ground for resilience. This is where you rise up, not because the storm vanished, but because you discovered divine strength in weakness. You start to sense that a breakthrough is coming, even if you can't see it yet. The same pressure that once made you feel at a breaking point now fuels your growth. You begin to understand there were miracles in the making all along, and when that realization fully settles in, everything changes from the inside out. You've felt feeling overwhelmed. You've wrestled with losing hope. You've stood at a breaking point, carrying emotional exhaustion that nobody else could see. And yet, you're still here. That alone tells a story. It tells you that even in the valley of shadow, even in seasons of deep despair, something inside you refused to completely let go. Now it's time to move differently. Not because everything is fixed overnight, but because your perspective has shifted. You understand there is purpose in the pain. You recognize that God's timing has never been careless. You begin to trust that the storm is passing, that there are unseen victories and miracles in the making, forming in places you cannot see. And instead of surrendering to fear, you choose faith over fear. This is where you renew your strength. This is where you rise up quietly, steadily, with conviction. You hold on to the promise even when emotions fluctuate. You speak life when negativity tries to creep back in. You remember that God is with you, that He is your refuge, and that divine strength in weakness was carrying you all along. So you don't give up. You keep moving forward. You press on because deep down, you know a breakthrough is coming, and this time, you're ready for it.